So you do college for 4 years?
4 years, right.
When do you start flying?
So I started flying in the fall semester of my senior year. So right at the beginning of my senior year, that back then the Air Force, ROTC had a program called the Flight Instruction Program, and it was to see how capable the future pilots really are. And it was a weeding out process. And so the Air Force paid for 25 hours, and if I remember correctly, we had to solo by the 11th hour.
You had to?
Yes.
And that meant, so they did their best to prepare you, but if you couldn't hold on, you would drop out.
Right.
Whoa.
And so I went, it was right here at Hawthorne Airport, where I flew, great instructor, and it was on a Piper Cherokee 140, and if you didn't solo by the 11th hour, then you were out. That you were not going to be a pilot. Well, the thing is, you look at it that the Air Force, they have 1 year when you go with the Air Force pilot training to get you through the entire program and you earn your wings as a pilot in the Air Force. And if somebody takes a lot of extra time to get there, it's just not going to work out well for the Air Force because they're not going to be able to stay with their class. Because when you start with a class, normally unless you have some kind of a physical problem, which keeps you from flying for a few weeks or a few months, you're going to go with that class all the way through. They have the program, and you got to follow the program and graduate and get your wings. And so in the ROTC, that FIP program was just to see if the person really has the capability to be a pilot and to be a pilot in set amount of time that they can learn.
Now, when you soloed at around 11 hours,
mm-hmm.
did you feel ready?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did just a few patterns?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they still paid for the rest of the time for the 25 hours, so I got to fly up, and I just go circle around the Queen Mary or just fly around the area. And then after the 25 hours was done, that was it. I didn't fly again until I went to pilot training.
Wow. Yeah. So here you are, someone who's never flown. You're solo in 11 hours. That's pretty cool. I mean, if you think about today's stand, I'm sure there's people who saw at 11, but I think things have changed a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't followed
it. Maybe the Air Force is still that way. I'm not sure. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you do the 25, and then what's next in your flying?
Oh, well, so as far as in my career, by now, having been right there in the midst of the Air Force while I'm going through college and being ROTC, we would have the ROTC programs every week. And in between my sophomore and junior year, I went to summer camp and learned more about the Air Force, and then went to another program between my junior and senior year. And I really got to know a lot about the Air Force. And I was thinking, well, I'd like to be a test pilot. And having the aerospace engineering background, that'd be pretty good.
Now, what was it about the test pilots or being a test pilot that appealed to you?
Just kind of an exciting, fun thing to do.
Just like the idea that you'll be the one out there.
Yeah, out there. Yeah, it'd be something, fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And anyway, so in my senior year, I took an extra class that I didn't have to. It was a graduate level class. And then and during the summer, I took 2 other graduate level classes. One of them was there at SC. I paid for myself. And the other one was at Cal State LA. I paid for myself. Modern Control Theory. Remember that one? I think that was it. And anyway, when I graduated college, I had 11 months before I went to pilot training. And what was I going to do with that 11 months? And I kind of got this idea from a guy who was 2 years ahead of me who did a similar thing when he had a delay. And what I did is I applied to USC to get a research assistantship and a teaching assistantship, and they gave me one.
Wow.
And that's another story in itself where it was a last-minute thing that I didn't find out that I was going to be delayed 11 months until quite late in the year towards my graduation. And the day I found out, I went to the aerospace engineering department, talked to the secretary there, and I said, "Hey, I remember hearing about these, not a scholarship, but these stipends are going to be given to people that were accepted into the program to be a teaching assistant or a research assistant for the professors here." And she says, "Well, that closed a few weeks ago, but the chairman of the department, Dr. Loffer, I think was his name, hasn't looked at them yet, and he's going to look at them today during lunch." And it was probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. I went by her office. She said, "If you could have an application written, an essay on why you want to have this teaching assistantship and research assistantship, and give me 3 letters of recommendation by lunch, I'll go ahead and I'll submit it with everybody else's." And geez, that's going to be damn hard. So I went back to my fraternity, sat down, wrote the essay, did the application. I got there and I went to ROTC department, had captain there write letter of recommendation for me. I went, tracked down 2 of my professors and asked them if they would just give a verbal recommendation to Dr. Loffer. And I did all this between that morning and
the afternoon
and the lunchtime. And I was rushing around. But anyway, so about a couple weeks later, I got the word that, okay, you've got this TA-ship where you're now a teaching assistant, research assistantship, and we'll pay for your classes to get a master's degree.
Wow.
So I used the one class I took in my senior year, and then I knew I had to take those 2 classes in the summer. And then I got that, and I took 6 classes in the fall semester, and I got my master's in aerospace engineering.
Wow.
After that first semester.
That's huge.
That was pretty good.
That is huge.
And that was because I knew I wanted to be a test pilot. And to be a test pilot, it really helps to have an advanced degree. And I would say 90%.
Specifically in engineering.
It helps. Engineering, math, science is one of those things. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you. So you went from not even daring to want to be a pilot to doing what you've done.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy. Wow. So you do that, and then you become a test pilot?
No.
So that's it.
Eventually, I did, but no. It's a process. Yeah.
Got
it's
it.
Definitely a process.
Would you say it's hard to become a test pilot, or is it just they're selective?
It's very selective. Yeah.
Got it.
I was very fortunate to be selected. It's a very, very small group.